another day at Morning Glory Farm. We thought it would be fun just to give you guys a little bit of an example of what sometimes we will do. So this was filmed on a nice Saturday afternoon where it wasn't horribly cold outside. And we just wanted to see what we do. So we walk out there, we grab the horses and put them in halters. I prefer rope halters just because they give you a little more control. As you'll watch through this video, we kind of alternate who has what horse just so they kind of get used to all of us, because everybody gives off a little bit different vibe. Everybody leads a little different, walks a little different. So we want these horses to completely be comfortable with all of us. And by doing who leads what horse, they kind of get used to all of us, and it's very good for us to understand the quirks of every horse, because each horse does have a quirk. Some lead a little better. I notice, like, when I lead Jonah, he likes to really be right next to me. So here's Christy is talking about she doesn't like walking in her overalls because it makes her hot and she finds them more tiring. So she's letting us all know the way to go is leggings with sweatpants. You can kind of see Jonah's walking real well with her, although we're going to turn down a path here. So there you can see Bran and I are now going to be in the lead for a little bit, just kind of showing. We also alternate what horses in the front, because some horses prefer the front, some prefer the back. And here you can just get a little idea of the property next to ours that we just go walk in. So I'm speeding this up just so you don't have to watch all of us just walking around. You can kind of get an idea just what it looks like, how beautiful it is around us. Even in the winter, it's still just absolutely beautiful. There's a hole there in the ground that I stopped to put a stick in there to show us that there's a hole, and other people, because it's right in the middle of the trail. We don't want one of us or one of the horses to step in it, because it's a pretty good sized hole. But there's this path in here, so we're just going to walk up on this path. We kind of let the horses look around a little bit. It's good to get them out into a new area. Let them see other areas around, so they kind of just get used to wherever we take them is going to be safe. That we can, as long as you're with us, you're okay. That's kind of the mentality that we're going for there. We kind of let them walk into the grass and just see things, look around. Here we'll stop for a little bit, let them find some stuff to nibble on, just relax a little bit. You can see they're definitely looking around. There are quite a few animals that live over in this field. We know that there's lots of deer. There's foxes, the ones that we've shown before in videos, live over here. And occasionally we see skunks and whatnot. So here we're just letting them look around. Occasionally they'll hear a noise. You see there Jonah spooked a little bit just because he heard something. Not sure exactly what it was, but so now you can see that I took Jonah and Christy now has Bran. Bran is actually, for just being a 8.5-month-old horse, is actually pretty good on the lead rope. I'm really surprised. He just seems like he's going to be a really sweet horse. He has very good disposition, very good manners for just a little guy who's still learning the ropes. And he doesn't seem super rambunctious, doesn't get phased by much, seems pretty chill. He did give me a little love nip the other day, but nothing serious. One of the things I work on whenever I go out with the horses is I just work on touching them all over the place, because you never know what's going to happen. You never know when they're going to get hurt, and you have to touch them maybe on their leg in a spot that you don't normally touch them, or ears or whatnot. If they get a burr up in their ear because they were sniffing around to the ground, you may have to kind of poke at their ear a little bit, and they might not like it. But anyways, I was working on kind of touching the inside of his back legs. Especially with boys, you do have to get up there occasionally to clean them, and he wasn't real fond of me touching him there, so he turned and just barely nipped my thigh. A little bit of a tiny bruise, no big deal. And I just kind of let him know, hey, that's not acceptable. So next time he went to do it, I saw it coming and I stopped him, and no big deal. Now pretty much every morning I go out there, and about the biggest reaction I get is he'll pick up that leg a little bit, and if I pull my hand away and put it back in, he tolerates it quite well. So here you can see Jonah really doesn't like the back. I think he has a little bit of separation anxiety, and he's just afraid that he's going to get left behind. So I make sure that he can listen to me more than them. So like right here, I'm like, hey, you're with me, not with them. We're fine. But there are all kinds of trails over here, and it's just a pretty area to ride. Getting a little bit overgrown by autumn olive, but still a nice area. There again, you can see I had to tell Jonah, just relax a little bit, you're fine. Nobody's going anywhere. It's okay to have a little bit of a space and a gap in there, but you can just see how good Bran walks with Christy. He is just such a good boy, and just kind of walks around with Ever. Does a great job. Memphis is pretty good. She's a little bit more alert, a little more head high up in the air looking around, but some of that could just be the mare in her just wanting to make sure everything's okay, everybody's safe. She was that way even before Bran came back with us. I hear people often say that the mares run the herd out in the wild so that she could be running our little herd here, and she just wants to make sure everybody's safe. She usually is the one that gets a little more worked up when you hear a noise, and she'll run over to investigate it. But some of that stuff, I like her curiousness, but I don't always like her reaction, so we'll work on her understanding that it's okay to be a little more chill. Sometimes we even, as we're walking, we'll just separate a little bit just so the horses learn that it's okay. I've been doing a lot of well testing around our area because of PFAS and whatnot. And there's like a permanent well over here where there's a post in the ground. So we're just gonna walk over there, let them see it. It's a new thing. It's not something they'll see every day because it's definitely much different. There you can see a little reaction from Memphis going, whoa, what's that? Because it doesn't look like nature. But she just gives it a little sniff and like, no big deal. Bran wants to look at it, which is fine. I like that he's curious but not jumpy. So there, he gave it a little sniff. Now he's a little worked up, but there was a guy over that you can't really see, but he was shoveling his driveway, so that scraping noise of the shovel is kind of getting their attention. It's not a sound that they hear every day. And there you can see a little skipping that used to get Memphis a little worked up because she just was a little bit jumpy when she first got here, which makes sense. She got separated from all the horses she did know, and she's in a new area, so sometimes we would do things like that and she would get a little spooked. But now she handles that real well. You can see Bran's getting a little worked up about the noises that are going on, and he's kind of wants to be by his mom because he's a little scared, but we're working with him. Just say, no, it's okay, just relax. Just calm down, everything's good. Sometimes they also get a little excited just because they know that this is home, and they try to get back there. Even back when we had Chico and Blaze, that was also kind of an issue. You come back to home base and they get a little excited. So, you know, Bran was a little excited here. I'm just kind of letting him get some of those wiggles out. It's good if you can let him release some of that energy instead of just keep it inside. You just got to direct it. So if he got too far, I just directed him back around me and told him, hey, you are fine, completely fine. So we're up here walking by Memphis, but again, we're just gonna not follow her right from behind and see how they do. So there you can see Jonah's a little concerned, wondering where she's going. He really doesn't like being separated from her. It's definitely something we're gonna have to work on. But we just like to take them out, you know, walk around. They get used to being led around. You gotta remember that even though Memphis is going on 4 years old, she's never been ridden. She's just kind of been a pet and a mom. So all this stuff is good for them, just for them to get used to being led around by people. There we swapped up, so I'm in charge. Sorry for the super bounciness. I didn't really think about this, but I was trying to make her trot while I was running backwards. So it's a little chaotic right there, I know. But I also want her to trot when I ask her to trot, and to trot calmly and not be crazy about it. So again, sorry for the craziness there. So you can see she did well as we walked and whatnot. Here now we're gonna just walk them up to the front yard, kind of an area that they haven't been to too much. Bran, where he grew up and where he's lived, even here he doesn't really have cars passing close by him, so that's something that we want him to see in a safe environment, a safe way. So if he wants to spook a little bit, he can, because we have the rope and we can control him, but he can slowly get used to it, and also see that Memphis and Jonah don't care about cars, so he'll slowly learn that they're no big deal. So once we get up to the front here, there's some pretty good grass under the snow, so we'll actually let them stop here and sniff around in the snow. And you can see Jonah, he goes, yeah, I know there's grass up here. I've had this before. So just let them have a little bit of grass to nibble. You know, all this playing out in the sun with the horses and in the snow just reminds me of a Bible verse. Genesis 1:28. It's right at the beginning of creation, but it says, and God blessed them, and God said to them, be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the heavens, and over every living thing that moves on the earth. Now, just part of playing with the horses is just having dominion over them. It's not domineering, but just God gave us the animals to be in charge, and it's awesome. So we had a great day in the sun today. I hope you enjoy watching this video. Thanks. What a beautiful day to hug a horse. Like really just get in there and feel the sun, feel the warmth, smell the beauty of a glorious horse. So here I grabbed both horses, thought, hey, let's run. So they weren't quite sure what was going on at first, but they settled in, you can see nicely. And little Bran was like, hey, where are we going? What are we doing? And then a car went by, so he got a little nervous, but that's fine. Like, see, not too bad. Just a little guy, still learning that cars are okay. No big deal. We get him settled in right away. Brianna did a good job with him, just keeping him relaxed and calm. See, he's fine now. That was quick recovery, so he wasn't too spooked by it. He's like, it's all good. So we walked the horses over to the barn, and we've been working with them to not be nervous in the barn. Memphis especially gets kind of nervous in the barn. Sometimes she even just will start to shake, and because she's just scared and nervous in the barn. So we brought them all in, gave them all some grain to eat. We have different grains for the horses and different amounts. Since Jonah's a big old boy, he doesn't get as much as Memphis does, and they both get Tribute Calm and Easy. And then for Bran, he gets a grain that's made for growing horses since he's a growing boy. But here you can kind of see we're just grooming them up, giving them some love. That's also just good for the horses to get used to being groomed and touched. Now Jonah, he's an old champ at it. He just was a little upset that he had to get groomed before he got to eat. So here you can see I'm picking their hooves. So we pick their hooves out every day just to make sure that there's nothing wrong with them, and it also helps deter the horse's version of athlete's foot called thrush. You clean out their hooves real well. We'll probably do a video later where you can actually see the hoof real well. Jonah really likes to stand heavy on his fronts and doesn't always like to give them as well as I would wish, but he's pretty good about it. And once you have his foot up, he's real good about just standing there and letting you pick that foot out. So I do appreciate that from him. Now we're gonna bring out Memphis after we go get, you can see, he's like, hey, I know what goes in those pans. That's grain. I want my food. Now you can see he hasn't missed too many meals in his life anyways, but I'm getting excited. So there never is a reason for a horse to have bad manners. So even though he's excited and he wants his food, we force him to wait and to stand there and stand there calmly before we walk into the stall, just because we don't want him to be all jumpy about everything. So now we'll go get Memphis. So Christy gave me the halter to go get Memphis just because she was a little worked up and not happy about being in her stall. So safety is always paramount. And since I've spent more time with them, all of the horses, because I'm out there every morning, I figured she would stand a little better for me and let me walk up to her and whatnot. But you can see she tolerates the grooming quite well. She is a very sweet horse, and because our long-term goal is to have her be Christy's horse, we're having here Christy work on picking her feet, and she had me switch over here. But that's, we got this at an ultra high speed, so grooming takes time. We're working on some curlies in her mane and whatnot, scratching her chest. She loves that. And now that she's all pretty, we gave her some hay, hoping she would just eat that in her stall. And it's time to get the little guy. So he is very tolerable of like me hanging on him, holding him, hugging him. But he did get a little worked up here. Just a little too much pressure with people on both sides. So we just went to one side, and he still gets, he's still kind of like, the grooming thing is new to him. That's one thing when we're petting him and holding him, but just brushing him with a brush feels a little different. And he's like, why are my mom and Jonah in the stall and I'm out here getting brushed? Feels funny, it's kind of weird. But anyways, we got him going, and he is amazingly good about me picking up his feet. I do kind of like little horses just because they don't weigh much, so when they try to fight you, it's a little easier. And then you can win that. So here you can just see how good he is about being hugged and loved on. I'm just rubbing him everywhere, hugging him everywhere. He's very good about all those things. I really think he's going to be a really good boy when he gets bigger. We can actually ride him. So now we just went through everything, groomed them all. Now we're just going to go grab them all, take them all out kind of at the same time. Again, good manners are always most important. So there it is, another day at Morning Glory Farm. We thank you for joining us. Have a great day. Bye.